Mitsubishi. What a brand. What a legend. Alongside Jackie Chan movies, Mitsubishi cars were some of the best things to have come out of the 90s and early 2000s. The Evo, 3000 GT, the Eclipse, Galant, the Pajero. Pajero being one of the most badass boss cars in my home country throughout my childhood. In 2004, when I was only 8 years old, my family switched from a white Lada 2108 to a cherry red Mitsubishi Lancer, where I spent most of my childhood in. Safe to say, I have some very strong sentimental attachments to the brand, to this logo, to what it represented throughout my childhood. Unfortunately, in 2021, Mitsubishi is a mere shadow of its previous glory. Financial hardships, Carl Ghosn, who's going to prison, the alliance with Nissan and Renault to save the brand. Today, the flagship of the manufacturer is the Outlander, the family SUV that we're going to take a look at right now in its bare bones base trim 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander ES. Under the hood of this big boy, you will not find anything too spectacular when it comes to performance. It's a Nissan Rogue drivetrain, 2.5-liter engine, 4-cylinder, 181 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque. Nothing to write home about as far as performance, but it does have a few tricks up its sleeve when it comes to fuel efficiency. Now, the interior of the 2022 Outlander ES is kind of a mixed bag. Let me explain. So everything from this door handle and across the center console, across the dashboard, including the steering wheel, and all the way until the other door handle, feels pretty good. It doesn't look base, it doesn't feel base. There's a bit too much piano black going on everywhere, but at the same time, it looks good. It doesn't look too budget. It looks reasonably upscale. But as soon as it gets past the door handle, it seems like that's where the budget ran out, and they just decided to put this cheap, plain, solid black cloth all the way till the end of the door. I don't know if they consulted with some psychologists that would suggest them to do that, but that's kind of how it feels. Everything past this point is incredibly budget. There's no panoramic roof, there's no sunroof. The driver's seat is manually adjustable, not electrically adjustable. The cloth seats feel very airport car rental like. They're very loud, very cheap feeling. They feel almost like too synthetic, too harsh and too coarse. It's not a nice cloth whatsoever. But everything that's here is good. Nice. And I do quite like the gauge cluster as well. The analog parts of it do look really cheap and base, but the center screen looks very good. I like the infotainment. I like what it's showing you. You can see the settings, you can see your speed, your tire pressure, what song's playing, forward collision mitigation system, the blind spot monitoring system, the lane keep, not lane keep assist, it does not have that, but it does have lane departure warning. And I don't think it should show any more. It's very to the point and it's very easy to use. It's very straightforward. Now the infotainment, I actually really like. It's very intuitive. It's very touchscreen at all times when you're driving. Unlike the CX-5, CX-5's infotainment, even though, yes, I understand it is an old infotainment system, but this is just so much nicer to use, and it's so much hassle-free. There's a bit of delay when you press the buttons, and that is kind of irritating in a way, but at the same time, everything works well. Everything is pretty intuitive. Everything is on the screen. Everything is easily accessible. I like it. I don't have too many gripes about the infotainment. It's a good infotainment, good technology. I really like it. One little thing I have to point out about this portion of the interior though is the buttons do feel quite cheap. The piano black buttons underneath, and also when I was driving at night, I noticed that the volume knob and the tuning knob are not backlit. Unless you know where they are exactly, or you feel for them, you know they're there, you would know. So when I picked up the car and I was driving home at night, I wasn't sure where the volume button was, so I was looking for it because there's really no backlighting to them, especially against the pretty bright screen at night. It was quite difficult to find. But again, everything is laid out very logically. HVAC controls, again, absolute treat to use. Buttons, the only touchscreen functions are the infotainment. Everything else is still buttons, and very easy and very logical. Now the gear lever is annoying. It's very weird. It takes a while to get used to, and it's not a very conventional shifter, but as soon as you get used to it, it's fine, right? I don't hate it like that. It's just something to get used to. We have a bunch of driving modes, especially for the off-roading enthusiasts. They will like some of these features, especially the hill descent assist. But we have the eco mode, we have the normal mode, we have the tarmac, we have gravel, we have snow, and we have mud. And as you're scrolling through this cheap feeling knob, you see on the screen the silver Outlander and its top trim, of course, going through a different driving conditions all across the world. One thing that I really don't like though is the backup camera. It is very pixelated, and it is 360p resolution at best. Not good, not horrible, but for 2022 you would expect something a little bit better. And also because it is base trim, we don't get a whole bunch of features that the Tide trims do get. Specifically, we don't get the wireless phone charging right here. But other than that, honestly, I don't mind this interior, and it does everything that you want it to do. It is well packed for the price. It is well packed for what it is, and yeah, I think for a base trim, for a base car, this is spot on. Now in the back, you get a very decent amount of space. And that's all I can really say, right? The cheap cloth, the budget cuts, how far across the door still remain. And we also have this faux carbon fiber plastic on the door. We have an armrest. But other than that, wait, how do I... Oh, this? Oh, that makes sense now. Yeah, we have a armrest. It doesn't seem to stay very horizontal unless I'm doing something wrong. Is it supposed to be like this? Leave a comment below because I am not sure. It doesn't seem to go very horizontal. We have a couple cup holders that are square cup holders. I'm not sure how many square bottles there are in this world that they would prioritize square over a circle. Not much to talk about. Very base, but it's okay. We have some good storage. We have some little pockets here. Other than that, yeah, not much to talk about. Now we also have a third row of seats, but even I wouldn't be able to fit here. So it really is for children and only children. The Outlander also boasts a very respectable 33.5 cubic feet of cargo space with a third row of seats folded down, which is only 3 cubic feet less than the Rogue due to the third row of seats. However, it is still more than enough for average user. Jesus Christ. So yeah, reverse emergency parking works. Well. Whew. It reacted to flowers though, like it was an obstacle, but I guess that's better than nothing, right? Okay, so finally driving the 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander ES, and god damn is this thing. Oh, the way it just takes the bumps, the way it just handles the road, man, it's so good, so good. Here's a speed bump coming up right now, and it's just so, man, it's so bloody comfortable. Dare I say, perfect long distance cruiser. One other thing that you really notice right away is just how bloody thick the steering wheel is. I like them chunky, and I like my steering wheels nice and thick, but I think this is a little bit too thick for my liking, and it's a bit too much for me, a little too much for me to handle. It sometimes just feels like you're grabbing a PVC pipe or a thick python. Like, it's just not, like, God, I'm really trying to avoid the euphemisms as much as I can in there. But anyways, too thick. End of story. But what I do love about the steering wheel is that the perforated leather is an absolute treat to the senses. I cannot say enough good things about quality perforated leather and just how well it ages and how good it feels. It's very much a tactile reward every time you grab the steering wheel. Like, it just feels so nice, and I can't properly explain why I like the feeling of it so much. It just feels so good. It's a very good choice of leather for a steering wheel. I remember when I said that the 2022 Outlander's engine has a lot of fuel-efficient trickery up its sleeve. It really does. The way the CVT is calibrated and the way it works with the engine is a thing of beauty when it comes to fuel efficiency and saving gas. I can literally be accelerating, not too fast, but still I could be accelerating while keeping my RPM steady at the same spot. That has to be doing absolute magic to the fuel consumption. It's really surprising just how well and how efficient this big 7-seater vehicle really is. I've been averaging, actually let me just double check right now. I've been averaging, well, 10.6 now, but it's more like, you know, a lot of idling and such. But on the highway, I was averaging 7 to 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers. That's amazing out of a vehicle this big. Acceleration wise, it does feel incredibly sluggish. It's very slow to accelerate, it's slow to get up to speed. Eco mode, normal mode, regardless, it's very slow to get up to speed, and it's just, the performance is not its strong suit anyway. But the comfort and the fuel efficiency, and really what this vehicle is really shines at, is just how nice it is to be in, just how nice it is to eat up kilometers in. You have so much storage, you have so much space, you can load up potentially 5 kids in there, in the back, and your wife, your husband, your whatever you like to classify yourself, in the passenger seat as well. And it's just, yeah, I could fall asleep in this, man. And it's quiet. It's genuinely quiet. For a base vehicle, this is a lot of good car for a base car. If you can skip over the disgusting cloth seats and this, whatever the hell this is, right? Everything else is a surprisingly good car for the money, and for a little over $30,000 Canadian, you're getting a very good deal, and you're getting a very good family car too. I would prefer to have the digital cluster, of course, but I'm also okay with an analog, right? It's over $30,000, just a little over $30,000, right? How much can you expect? And my expectations were reasonably low, and it kind of exceeded them. It's pretty nice. I wish it had cooled seats, of course, and I wish it had more features, of course, and I wish it didn't have 11 empty buttons for for the non-existing features that are available for higher trims. Other than that, honestly, it's a very good option, especially a 7-seater. How many 7-seaters do you get for $30,000? Barely any. After spending the day with the 2022 Outlander ES, I realized that you really are getting a lot for the money. Just a little over $30,000. You're getting good cargo capacity, a bit less than the Rogue, but you are getting 2 extra seats. It's super comfortable. It is quiet. It is very good on gas. You are getting basically a 7-seater for just a little over $30,000, and it has the right amount of car. And the right parts of the car, right? You're getting the basic tech that you would want for the money. It's got everything you want. And it has a 10-year and I believe 150,000 kilometer drivetrain warranty. So they really have a lot of faith in this drivetrain. Good car. Highly recommend. It gets my stamp of approval. I wouldn't go for the base trim, but it definitely gets my stamp of approval. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.